What if the Social Security check you claimed at 62 is quietly costing you over $100,000 over your lifetime? Most retirees never learn that this decision can be reversed, but only through a strict legal process with a 12-month deadline and full repayment of every dollar already paid. In this video, I am going to show you exactly how to undo the mistake most people carry into retirement. Meet Robert, a retired structural engineer who filed at 62 and locked in a monthly benefit of $1,750. He thought the decision was permanent, but federal rules contain two legal escape hatches, and one of them expires fast. The difference could be hundreds of thousands of dollars. Here is exactly how the system can still be reversed. When Robert filed at 62, Social Security applied a 30% reduction to his full monthly benefit of $2,500. That locked him into $1,750 a month. He thought of it as a small price for retiring early, but property taxes climbed, food costs rose, and his fixed check stopped feeling like enough. That is when Robert discovered the true cost of his decision. Every cost of living adjustment is calculated on the benefit you actually receive, not the one you would have received. Because Robert's base was $1,750 instead of $2,500, each annual increase was smaller in real dollars. Over a 20-year retirement, that gap compounds into more than $100,000 in lost income. And the longer he lives, the worse it gets. The break-even point often sits around age 81, but most people never run the numbers until it is too late. Here is the part almost no one knows. The Social Security Administration does not permanently lock every early claim. There are two legal ways to reverse or repair the damage. The first is a withdrawal of application using Form SSA 521. It treats the original filing as if it never happened, erasing the early penalty and allowing delayed credits to rebuild. The second is a voluntary suspension at full retirement age, which requires no repayment at all. Robert found the form after 11 months had already passed, leaving him one single month before the first window slammed shut forever. Now he faces a brutal choice: file the withdrawal and repay every dollar Social Security has paid, including money he never actually touched, or miss the deadline and lose the only option that can fully erase the penalty. The decision seems simple on paper, but the repayment rules hide a trap that has forced retirees to hand back far more than they ever received in their bank account. The clock is down to weeks, and the math turns on a detail most retirees never see coming. That detail is the word gross. The Social Security Administration does not ask you to repay only what landed in your checking account. It requires you to repay every dollar paid based on your application, including money that was deducted before you ever saw it. For Robert, the monthly benefit was $1,750, but after Medicare Part B premiums were withheld, his bank received $1,575 each month. Over 11 months, that net deposit totaled $17,325. Yet the withdrawal notice demands $19,250. The missing $1,925 is the Medicare premium that Social Security paid on his behalf, money Robert never touched but must still return. And that is not all. If any federal income tax was withheld from his benefit, those amounts must be repaid too. If there was a garnishment for child support, alimony, or a prior debt, that money is also included in the repayment figure. Social Security does not adjust the bill for what you actually received. It treats the application as if it never existed, and every single dollar paid under it must come back. That includes spousal benefits. If Robert's wife collected on his record for even a few months, she must agree in writing to the withdrawal, and every spousal dollar must be repaid as well. If she refuses, the withdrawal does not happen. That single detail has stopped countless retirees who otherwise qualified for the fix. Then there is the harshest condition of all. This withdrawal is a one-time event. A retiree gets exactly one lifetime request. If Robert uses it now and later changes his mind again, there is no second chance. That makes the decision permanent in a different way. And the clock is merciless. The 12-month window starts from the first month of entitlement, not from the date he realized the mistake. By the time many retirees learn this option exists, the window has already closed. Robert is at month 11, That means he has weeks, not months, to gather the full repayment amount, secure spousal consent, and file the form before the deadline passes. But here is the twist that changes everything. The withdrawal does more than erase the penalty. It resets Robert's Social Security record to 0, as if he never filed. Once the repayment is complete, he can wait until age 70 and earn delayed retirement credits of 8% per year. His full benefit of $2,500 at age 67 could grow to $3,100 by age 70. The same man who was on track to receive $1,750 for life could instead receive over $3,100, plus all future cost of living adjustments on the higher base. That is not a small raise. That is life-changing money. However, the repayment amount must be paid in full. There is no installment plan for withdrawing a Social Security application. The agency wants its money back before it approves the reset. For Robert, that means $19,250 in cash, plus any spousal amounts, all at once. Most retirees do not have that sitting around. And if they borrow to pay it, the interest cost eats into the future gain. This is the point where the decision stops being about government forms and becomes a brutal personal financial test. What would you do with 1 month left on the clock? If you miss it, the first escape hatch is gone forever. But there is a second path, and it does not require returning a single dollar. It is called voluntary suspension, and it might be the only realistic option for anyone past the first window. Yet it carries rules that punish the people around you, and the way it interacts with Medicare is something almost no one expects. That is next. If Robert can gather the full $19,250, plus any spousal repayment, before the 12th month ends, he resets his record completely. He waits until 70 and receives roughly $3,100 a month instead of $1,750. The extra $1,350 per month multiplied by future cost of living adjustments becomes a 6-figure gain over a 20-year retirement. If he cannot repay, the first window closes and he moves to the second option. At full retirement age of 67, Robert can file a request to voluntarily suspend his benefits. He receives no checks for 3 years, but every month earns delayed retirement credits of 2/3%. That is 8% per year. By 70, his $1,750 benefit grows to $2,170, a $420 jump each month without paying back a single dollar. The trade-off is predictable. His wife, if she is receiving spousal benefits based on his record, loses those checks during the suspension. Divorced spouses are protected and continue to collect, but a current spouse is not, and Medicare premiums no longer come out of his check. Instead, he pays them directly, quarterly for Part B, and that out-of-pocket cost can feel sudden. But here's the final surprise most retirees never see. A nationwide survey found that nearly half of adults believe their benefit will automatically increase at full retirement age if they claimed early. That belief is completely false. Social Security does not fix the reduction on its own. Without filing a withdrawal or a suspension, the reduced benefit stays reduced for life. The only reason Robert has any chance to change his future is that he discovered the forms before the deadlines closed. Millions of others do not. When Robert finally does the math, he sees that the cost of waiting until 70, whether through withdrawal or suspension, is not just years without payments. It is the risk of dying before the break-even point. The crossover typically lands around age 81 to 83. If he lives past that, the higher monthly checks win. If he does not, the early filing turned out to be the right call. That uncertainty is exactly why the Social Security Administration allows these options. Not because one choice is always better, but because personal health and income needs change. The central promise of Robert's story is this: filing at 62 is not always irreversible, but the remedies are narrow, unforgiving, and often missed. Withdrawal erases the penalty but demands full repayment and spousal consent. Suspension adds credits but stops payments and strips spousal benefits. Both require a clear-eyed look at your own life expectancy and cash reserves. The worst mistake is not claiming early. It is never learning that a correction exists until the last window closes. So before you accept a lower check as your permanent fate, run your numbers, check the dates, and ask a fiduciary one question. Is my application still open to repair? That answer could be worth $100,000. Here is exactly what to do next. First, write down your filing date and your full retirement age. If you are still inside 12 months, request Form SSA 521 today. If you are past that, find out whether voluntary suspension is available once you hit full retirement age. Ask specifically about gross repayment, spousal consent, and how Medicare billing changes. The longer you wait, the fewer options you have. But beyond the forms, Robert's case exposes a larger truth. The system rewards people who keep asking questions. Retirement planning is full of deadlines hiding in fine print, and one missed date can carry a six-figure cost. The real risk is not making the wrong call. It is never learning that the call was reversible. If this changed how you see your Social Security decision, subscribe and turn on notifications. There are more silent deadlines waiting in your statement, and your future check may depend on asking the questions most people only ask after it is too late.